Oh, we just lost Steve. Oh, no, he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
There he is.
Evening,
Am I
and
here?
yes, you are. Good evening, and welcome to the
Good.
Plastic Crack podcast. You're joined today by me, Ken from Miniature Wargaming Warriors. You got Boots on the Table from Dom, and you got Steve from On Point HQ. Welcome, everybody. Hope everybody's okay and having a fantastic evening. And as always, can you hear us?
Can you hear us, Auntie Mabel? Can anybody hear us?
Can anyone hear me?
Live. I can hear you. Let's see. I can't see anything on mine. It's a bit scary. Oh, wrong one. Sorry, I'm doing people's eyes in. No, that's working. Okay, should be live. All right, should be live. Don't know why. Not seeing anything on my stream at all.
I just got to turn you up a little bit.
So I can't see if anyone's in the chat because I can't see the chat.
Oh no.
It's odd. Why is it not doing that? All right. Well, we'll just have to assume, I think. Oh no, there we go. I found us. There we go.
Hello,
That's weird.
Clarice.
It put us in a really odd place on our list. Hi, Leslie. How you doing, mate?
Right, audio
Paul's
is
here as well.
Audio is good. Hello, Leslie.
Fantastic. It wouldn't be one
Evening,
of our shows.
evening, everybody.
Trying to cock up around the volume technology or something.
Yeah, exactly. I've got the chat on my phone because I'm still using only one screen at the moment. But yeah, welcome everyone. How is everybody this evening? I hope you're all well and good. Let us know in the chat. It's been a fun week for the hobby.
Oh. Fun. It's always fun.
Yeah, always
fun. Hope you're not getting washed away by the massive storms that are going over at the moment. We just had it here. Absolutely ridiculous.
Dom keeps rubbing that in my face because he knows he's got to go to work.
I know. Steve, aren't you just so pleased that you're just going to be sitting in the warm, in the dry most of the time? In fact, probably just going to bed or something, taking it nice.
Even better, going to bed. Going to bed sounds like a good way after this, yeah.
Fantastic. Right, so and I was going to say this. Shall we crack it off, Dom? Let's get on the questions for once.
Crack it off already, then, mate. What do you mean? So we got Leslie, we got Paul, we got Peter, got Ian, all here. Fantastic, good stuff.
Carl Reese in my chat. Hello, mate. Are you all good?
Cool beans. Welcome. Right. Question for the day then. So, what you've been working on this week then, Steve? What have you been up to?
Can you hear us, Steve?
Can you cut out?
You, mate.
Yeah.
You.
Oh, what have I been up to?
Yeah.
Yeah. What you been up to?
Kit bashing.
Oh. Kit bashing.
More German kit bashing. Brandenburgers.
Oh yeah, I saw the video.
I was actually quite chuffed with them. All I got to do, I've decided to branch out and make it a 10-man unit and add an extra LNG. But I've also the guy that was made from 5 different kits. He's now a radio operator. So it's been Brandenburgers. I've been making more log bunkers as well.
Oh, very nice.
Just all about there's 2 things you know that happen. In fact, there's 3 things you'll always know that happens on Point HQ channel. Is that it's going to be lots of Germans, there's going to be lots of kit bashing, and there's going to be lots of logs. That's the 3 things I've learned.
Lots and lots of logs.
Yeah, that's the blinking look.
I might change the channel to Log Point HQ. Although that just sounds disgusting. So
it does. You might get some really weird viewers coming in expecting something
completely different. Yeah.
Very specialist.
I think the terms of service may be breached after about 5 minutes if I change my name to that.
Yes, very much so.
Oh Jesus. We got, oh, hi, Nick, Medieval Warriors in the house. Hi.
Hello, Nick.
Leslie is doing Mexican American Indians from the 1846 war. Blimey, that's very specialist, mate. Well done.
That's
Paul, I know he's doing his infamy Batavarians.
Dom's jealous. Dom's jealous. We'll get onto that later.
I know. We'll get onto that in a minute. Some git is stopping me, getting between me and my infamy rules. Miller's Miniatures. Hiya, mate. How you doing? What about you then, Ken? What you been up to? Or are you going to keep it all top secret and tease us all again?
Yeah, of course it's going to be top secret, most of it. I painted me a Stuart tank for the video, which I'm really happy about. First bit of historical in a while, which I'm really happy with. I did a couple of other little bits that I can't talk about. Video to come. But no, I'm quite happy actually with my progress this week. So that video is getting closer and closer, the big reveal one. So it's going to be, I reckon it's going to be maybe a month or so, and then it will be done completely, because there's a lot of stuff to paint. That's all I'm going to say. Finally, the shops have opened today, haven't they? The shops have opened today, so I can finally get some railway track for whatchamacallit. I'll remember the name in a minute, for my Stalingrad board. So I'm looking forward to getting back on that. So that's to come. I'm quite excited because I can actually finally go and queue up and get all the parts I need. So that's on its way. And I'm trying to remember if I primed this or not. I don't think I did. So I can't paint that. Unless I prime it with the airbrush very quickly. But
just another excuse to show off the bloody airbrush, isn't it? I know.
I think I'm gonna have to prime it quickly. But yeah, no, that was my week. What about you, Dom?
Well, funny enough, I got stuck doing lots of green, little bastards.
Why's that,
That's
mate?
what I've been doing. Yeah, because somebody's got me so bloody hooked on it. It's ridiculous, and he knew he would. He's an absolute so-and-so.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, I have been working on orcs.
Do you know what?
I have made. Sorry, Steve.
I was gonna say, I may have said it last week, but I know 2020 has been a strange year. You working on orcs is just, I don't know. I just tops everything.
You're not wrong there, mate. You're not wrong. And you know, I've discovered that actually Mantic orcs obviously are not very popular in the orc community because judging by how many of them, well, there aren't actually that many for sale on eBay, but those that are dirt cheap. So suddenly those, whatever you bought me, 60 odd figures you bought me, have multiplied. They've bred. There's now, probably about 160.
Oh my god! I didn't know there's that many.
Yeah, it's well, maybe not quite that many, but it's getting up for that sort of number. Because I suddenly discovered you can buy them all really cheap, and they're actually really quite nice to paint. I quite enjoyed painting them. So I've assembled another 40 Axemen, primed 20 of them.
Have you got enough banners and music men?
There's only one in each. I think I've said this before. It was weird in that box set. There was only one in each, but I have bought a couple of separate flagger models, so I'll probably put them into the units. So I've been making up those. I did some archers, and I really enjoyed doing them. They were good fun to do, and only 10 of them. But I was just saying to Ken before we joined, I don't know how many medieval and ancient archers I've done over the years, and I have never ever tried to put bowstrings on them. For some reason, I decided I would on these, and it was dead easy. And I thought, why the hell haven't I done this before? And it made such a difference. They actually look really quite good. And it was just using the string that you get, or the rigging that you get for the Black Seas ships, because I got so much of it left over. It was sitting there on the side as I was finishing them off, and I thought,
why not?
I wonder whether I could do that.
Why not, innit?
And it was so easy. The effect was so good. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. I actually did start up on my medievals, trying to get them finished. Trying to finish off the last of the knights, get them done and finished. Although I did get a bit kibosh there. I had some Oh God, what is it? Those really nice medievals. Forgotten the name. I had some of their troops, some of their foot soldiers, and they've forgotten to send me the bill hooks to go with the figures.
Oh right.
So that's rather slowed me down. Claymore, that's it.
Nice.
Claymore figures. So.
Have you
Yeah,
contacted
so he's
him?
sending me some out.
Yeah, he's contacted him. Good as gold.
I sent him an email and he said, "Yeah, really sorry," and it's in the post, so it
that's
just
right
slowed
then.
me down a bit.
Gives you time to paint more greenskins, doesn't it?
I did actually finish. Also, did manage to finish off, much to my surprise. I've been only working on it for about 6 weeks. Not quite that, about 4 weeks. That little bloody swim jeep thing that I bought from Rubicon, and it's been sitting here for weeks and weeks. And I finally just thought, screw it, I just got to get it done. So I did finish it, painted it, and it's up in the cabinet.
Oh, very nice. Done. Oh, that's a bit of a relief, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I was looking for my
evening, Martin. How you doing, buddy? Sorry, carry on.
No, I was looking for my bloody wraith bone, and there it was on the floor. Where else is a bottle of paint going to be?
Well, of course it is. Well, you usually chuck them over your shoulder, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm going to paint something a bit out of difference. I'm going to go try and paint this troll from the Lord of the Rings Pentalore Field set. I haven't done any Lord of the Rings for a while, so I'm going to see if I can paint it in a night using a contrast paint. We've got a couple of hours. I should be all right once I get it based, but I'm going to have to prime it with the airbrush quickly because I'm pretty sure I have not primed this properly. So I do not want to be taking a risk.
You don't want to, on a big unit, a big thing like that, you don't want to screw it up.
No, exactly. It's quite an important aspect of the army, so I need... Yeah, so I'm doing that. What about you, Steve? What are you going to try and do?
I'm painting 40 10mm American Civil War.
Oh, okay. 10mm. Jesus.
Yeah. 40 at a time.
So wait, if you're going to do it, you do it properly, don't you?
Well, it's 4 bases to a regiment and 10 figures on each base. And I mean, the figures are good, and they're from Pendragon.
Right.
So they're a good mix of being small, but they're also detailed as well. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. You can blast through them. 6 feet away, they look really good. If you get like 6 inches up, not so good.
No. I see what you're saying. All right, let's try and get this.
They're very popular, those Pendragons, and I've seen a lot of people painting up 10 mils at the moment. It seems to be really much in vogue at the moment. I guess it's a bit of a compromise. It's sort of small, but not so small that you can't see a damn thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good mix between 28 mil and 6 mil. So I don't want to do ACW in 6 mil, but I think 10mm is. It's just a painting sweet spot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a good little idea, to be fair. Yeah, not gonna lie.
I've had this for years. We both bought. Ian got a Union one. I got this, and I didn't touch it for about 2 years. But recently I've got back into painting. I can really fly through them. All it is just basic colours and a black wash, and then really basic highlights, and it's job done. I'm just going to go and close my window because the end of the world's actually happening here at the moment. So I'll be back in a second.
Yeah. Paul just said in chat things that the sky's going very dark, very black here. Yeah, it's we've just had it here. It just went over here, and it just literally monsoon rain, heavy stuff. It's obviously come up to Steve now, and I pity anybody who's got to work tonight. That's all I'm saying.
Awesome. Cheers. Me keeping your broadband connected. That's what I'm doing.
Not mine, mate. I'm BT, not your lot.
Yeah.
So I wish we did have your lot actually. So yeah, that's what. So I'm working on some Native American troops for my French Indian Wars. I'm just finishing these guys off.
Oh, very
I
nice.
forgot I had them because I did all the other guys. I did the Rangers and various other things. So I thought I'd better finish these guys off.
Why
So
not?
it's just 6 of them. And then they're out the pile, which is good. They're largely done. I'm just going to put a little bit of detail on some of them. They're I have to say it's quite difficult to see. These are North Star miniatures, which are quite like North Star miniatures, but I find some of the detail gets a bit lost. You know, sometimes they just overdo it on detail.
Yeah.
Some manufacturers, and there's just certain
Yeah.
places it's just a bit too much, and it's work out. You know, you think, oh, that must be that, and then you realise, no, it's not. It's something completely different, and it kind of catches me, which is not ideal when I haven't got my proper setup to paint because I don't paint up here normally.
No.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Ian. Lovely. He says it's a Culloden painting studios. Ian says it's lovely and bright here in the Highlands. Yeah, lovely.
Yeah.
Well, makes a change, mate.
Yeah, it does.
It ain't.
It was lovely and bright here up until about an hour ago. But I think the apocalypse is upon us. It's looking pretty Armageddon-esque outside at the moment.
Yeah, we just the ducks just gave up and went home because they're just so frustrated by it out here. It's ridiculous. Yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I thought for a minute the whole internet was gonna get knocked out, and I was gonna have to call BT out, decent companies, come and fix it.
You'd see him in about 3 weeks.
No, I know. I'm joking completely. I'll happily move to your side. That is for damn sure. So, right, I'm going to start with a question here. And I don't know whether you two are really even remotely interested, but I know a couple of the guys in the chat certainly are. So, big news today was the infamy rules from Two Fat Lardies went up for pre-order. So, you could buy the rules, which come out, I think, on the 29th. They're coming out. And you could buy a bundle for the rules plus a PDF copy that they're going to send to you as soon as they can, and all the tokens and what have you. So this is the ancient version of Sharp Practice, basically.
This thing you've been banging on about that.
I've been banging on about it for ages, and I know Paul in the chat will be very excited. I know he's already been talking about it. It's really, really good, and they're going to be the first set of rules is covering sort of Caesar's legions, and so it's all the early Romans and early, well, not the very early Romans, but sort of early Republican Romans and their enemies.
Yep.
So you got the Britons, the Gallic tribes, the Germanics, all that kind of stuff, which I'm really excited about. And then the second book, which I think is going to be even better, it's the one I would really like first, but they're not going to do it that way around. It's going to be the Carthaginians and that period of history. And I think they're kind of doing sort of supplements for each one, so which is kind of cool. It's really, really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to having heard it. But I guess, are you guys interested in that? Have you seen anything about it, or are you just completely oblivious to it?
I've heard you going on about it.
No, I've been aware of it because I watched or listened to the oddcast from Two Fat Lardies. I would be interested, but I have a distinct lack of gaming opponents around here. So there's literally no unless I know someone else is going to be interested in it. There's no point. Or I do what I'm doing with Chain of Command, which is building 2 armies, so I can sort of teach myself the rules, and then if go. I know there's a local club, but I don't know if they'd be interested. Luckily, I found this out last week. They've just started playing bolt action then.
Oh, there you go.
So nice. So once the club reopens, I might have me some more regular bolt action opponents. So if that takes off, yeah. But what I like about Infamy is the setting. I think it's because normally with Ancient you need masses and masses of troops, but doing a skirmish like that, you're getting Ancients plus less figures, which to me sounds really good. Plus, I really like the way the Lardies games work. The mechanics are just spot on.
Yeah, they're very clever.
We do have a small one, don't we? It's called SPQR, but we won't talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, nobody else does, so why should we?
No.
It it is interesting, and I think it's I saw a Facebook post from Rich from Lardy's posting about it, and clearly I think he was delighted with the interest there's been already with it. I mean, literally they only put it up today, and I saw so many people saying pre-ordered, and just I know the number of people who are really excited about the rules. Very interesting to see how they play and how they play out. But I was going to ask if you are interested what army you'd go for, but it's pointless really because I know Steve would find
if I had to, because I come from proud Celtic stock, I think I'd probably do Celts or Britons. But I look at the figures and there's loads of skin on them. I don't like painting flesh, so I think that might be not one for me. I was going to say, Dom, with the amount of interest in Infamy, how many of those people do you think are like dedicated sharp practice players?
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's a good question. It's a really good question, and I think it probably is fair to say, like you said, I think a lot of people like Lardy rules, so they'll try pretty much any of them. And I do think I know when magazines used to do these sort of polls of which periods people liked the most, it was always Napoleonics and Ancients were the sort of two most popular kind of periods. And so I suppose you're going to get a lot of people who do cross over from the two, but you're also going to get a lot of people who just are die-hard ancient players and really want to have a decent rule system that works for sort of smaller scale battles.
Yeah.
There are a couple out there. The one that shan't be mentioned that Ken mentioned and just about got away with. But there's also Clash of Spears, which was another one that came out at the end of last year, which actually looked really good. I haven't had a chance to play it because pretty much as soon as they came out, we went into lockdown. So I got the rules from the Kickstarter and I've read them, and they do look quite good fun. So I feel a bit sorry for the guys there because I think by the nature they're doing exactly the same, really, in terms of scale of battles. You're talking 50, 60 figures aside, and it's going to be hard for them to compete against Infamy because I think that will just pull the rug out from underneath them. But I guess, simple answer. I don't know, Steve. It'd be interesting to see what people say in chat. I mean, if you're a Sharp fan, would you move over to playing Infamy, or those are, have you played? Do you have to have played one to want to play the other, or is it just I don't know. I suspect there's going to be a real mixture myself.
Or you might get Hell Caesar players that just want to play something a little bit smaller.
Yeah, I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what we used to do. I think I mentioned this before. That's on Napoleonics because we wanted to play Black Powder, but you need quite a lot of figures for Black Powder. 20. I mean, we all played at 15 mil, but we wanted to play at 28 mil. You need a lot of figures, so we started off playing Sharp because we knew it was going to be a fun game.
Yeah.
And so you could build up your army, and suddenly you've got enough to play, a reasonable sized Black Powder game. In fact, we completely went that way with American War of Independence. We started off playing a lot of Sharp with that, and then suddenly you go, my God, we've got enough figures here to do, as we did, Brandywine once in Black Powders, which was a big game on 8x6 table, I think it was in the end. So it was kind of massive. So I think it's a good sort of way of building up. That's for sure. What's people saying in here? Yeah, Leslie said he's ordered. Yeah, I think a lot of people I saw have ordered it. Ian says too many Napoleonics to paint for himself before he contemplates Romans. But the one interesting thing. So if you do the pre-order for the Lardy rules, you've got a chance to win. There's a really nice picture on the front cover that they've had commissioned on the rules, and it's of Romans against I think it's Germans. And it's a fantastic art piece, and that's
a fantastic thing.
Yeah, they'll win it as a signed copy, which is just absolutely fantastic way to go. So I think that's going to be really exciting. Yeah, Paul says he's very, very excited. Yeah, super excited. He's super excited, more excited than Mr. and Mystic excited from Excited Street, Excitedville. I think we get the picture there, Paul. Yeah,
he's pretty.
But I know he's doing
pretty
a
excited.
German army.
Paul, mate, you excited by any chance?
It's just a tad.
Just a smidge. Just a smidge.
That's good.
And Leslie says you should be able to do them, Steve, because you just paint lots of tattoos on them, so there's not so much flash. There you go. Not so much flash on the. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. But I do think they're going to be really good, and I think they're refining their rules like crazy. So I'm really excited by it. But I'm going to start on a German army. If I ever get off these bloody green little bastards, I'm going to start on the German army and do that. Because bizarrely, that's one of the few ancient armies I haven't actually got. So I'm going to do that. And I couldn't take Roman because that's like playing French, and I couldn't do that. So I'm going to do a German army.
I'd wait for your second book and go Carthaginians. I'd be interested.
Well, I've got all the figures I need for that, mate. That's why I'm really excited by that, because I've got in the Garage of Shame, I've got tons and tons and tons of Carthaginian figures, and they just need tarting up and rebasing a bit. So
what, in 28mm?
That's the sort of next thing. Yeah, all in 28mm. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
There's
very
masses
nice.
of them in there. There's a load of successor Macedonians, Indians, you name it, they're all in there. So
that's pretty cool.
Numidians by the ton. So I'm gonna really looking forward to getting them recycled, which is really what I was kind of keen with these rules. But yeah, they seem to have. I don't know whether they're going to do complete rewriting of the rules. I suspect not. It's just going to be like army lists and campaign books. But
yeah,
it should be good. So,
that's quite cool.
Anyway, that was my exciting rule. And you can say I'm not the only one. Paul definitely gets the biscuit for being excited on that
one. Well done, Paul.
So, but it got me thinking a bit about rules and rule sets. So I know one of the things we all joke about as gamers, right, is you can never have enough games, never enough rule sets, enough rules.
That's very true.
But it's really weird, isn't it? I mean, can you ever have enough? And what do you look for in a rule set? Why do you know what gets you excited by a particular type of rules? What do you look for in a game? I guess it's simplest.
For me, go on, Steve. You go first, mate.
I don't know what I'm looking for at the moment, and I don't know whether there's one out there. I don't know. It's a mix of all different games. I like Cyberpunk, and I sort of, and it's called hard-fi, so it's like sci-fi but more kind of realistic science fiction. I would love a good sort of cyberpunk skirmish game. But for rules, what I look for is not just simplicity. I'm not going to say simplicity. Ones where when I'm playing, I'm not going to spend 50% of the game time with my head in a book or reading charts.
Yeah.
And I've played quite a few of those in the past. So for me, that's why I like bolt action, because you can play a game once you've learned the rules, very rarely you've got to consult a book. It's all up there.
Yeah.
But for me, that's the big one. Am I going to be looking through, consult chart 4A on page 450? No, I don't want to be doing that. So that's the big one for me.
Yeah, I think that's true, and I think it is about that playability and ease of pick up and use, isn't it? If you're going to have to, I think excuse me, burpee poos. We talked about this a few times, Ken, haven't we? Around the whole sort of the way things have changed in terms of rule
streamline,
used to be
streamlining,
so much complicated, and now it's about fast play, or at least relatively quick play, and pick it up and have a game in an evening, which I think is a good thing.
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite at the moment. I would quite like a more complex rule system. I would just like something. I'd like to be able to get a set of rules and play them quite a few times, so maybe 10, 20 times. And then if I know the rules at the end of that, it's a complex game, then I can enjoy it. It's quite weird, isn't it, that I'm after a more complex sort of rule system at the moment. Not
Why is that? Are you just fed up with 40k and all the kind of
yeah, the
shallow kind of stuff that we get
just
there?
I never got to. I never really played a lot of complex rules, did I? So I've always played streamlined games. So I want something a bit more crunchy.
Yeah.
And that's just me at the minute. I'll probably change my mind in about 6 months. You know what I'm like. I'm here painting a bloody.
Ken, have you played Infinity?
No, I've not played Infinity. No, I've got a mate. I've got a mate who's played about. He must have about 20, 30 armies, but yeah, because you don't need many models, do you?
No, that's really small scale skirmish.
Yeah. Yeah, I've not touched it, mate. To be honest with you, I should give it a go. Really, that's meant to be quite good. But no, I've not.
I mean, you know what? The one my go-to for skirmish games at the moment, I mean, real small scale, is Strontium Dog by Warlord Games.
Right.
Oh yeah. What is that? What's that? What sort of,
I love the comic.
That's a sci-fi space thing, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's based on 2000 AD Strontium Dog with Johnny Alpha and Wolf Sternhammer, and they basically play as two bounty hunters who are going out, hunting down the universe. But I like the rules are really quick paced. It's kind of like bolt action. It's like chip driven.
Right.
But it's a good fast paced game. I think it probably helps to like Strontium Dog before you start playing. But no, I keep on meaning to get the Judge Dredd one as well, because that's meant to be quite similar. But yeah, my go-to smaller, really small skirmish game, definitely Strontium Dog.
Yeah. I'm after like more of a historical sort of army sort of thing. So like American Civil War complex rule and 6 mil, so I can play a massive army. Just after that, I guess, because those sort of rules are normally more complex, aren't they? If I'm being honest.
Yeah.
It's all about your flanks and all that. It's more acting like a military commander, I guess, than it would be just playing a game. Is probably what I would be fair to say that I'm after at the moment.
A proper simulation of a battle rather than a game.
Yeah, simulation. Yeah, that's probably the best way to put it, Dom. Yeah. Yeah, it's quite.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I think I've probably gone the opposite direction. Well, I know I have. I still kind of like those sort of games, but it's funny. I can't remember. I was watching. I think it was on one of these many Facebook forums or Facebook page, and people were talking about old rule sets on medieval thing. And there used to be a rule set called Retinue, which I used to play back in the day with a couple of my buddies, and it was medieval skirmish games, and it was notorious. I mean, it was a little pamphlet, right? It was, I don't know, 30 pages. I've probably still got it in the garage somewhere. In fact, I know I have. I saw it not that long ago. And it's only about 20, 30 pages long, but it was the most complicated rule set I've ever come across. Into literally every mechanic was worked through, and whenever a game of, I don't know, 5 figures aside would take you 4 hours, 5 hours maybe to play, because it was so complicated and there were so many elements. And there was a Second World War set, and I can't remember what it was at the same time, that was literally you got you had all these graphs of penetration of shots over distance. So when you were shooting it was no sort of roll of 6 and you hit. It was, could this gun penetrate? How much would it lose in terms of penetration over that range? And you literally spreadsheet, and then 10-sided dice, percentage chance to penetrate, and all this kind of stuff. And these games were so complicated. I mean, literally, if you got 1 turn, 2 turns in an evening, you were doing well. And they were great as a simulation. Were fantastic fun, right? It was well, it's authentic as you can get playing with toy soldiers on the table, right? But it sort of had more of the feel around the whole thing. But the playoff was the trade-off was that you couldn't get a game in the evening. So it was fine if you had a gaming room and you could leave it up, and your buddies could come around the next day and play another couple of turns, and then a few days later to come and play a few more. But it was really hard work to get these games finished.
Yeah, I bet it sounds it, to be fair. Sounds a bit of a nightmare.
But the playability now is so much better. But then you've lost a lot of the accuracy as a result of it. So you can play a complicated game. You can refight quite a big battle in a couple of hours, 3 hours maybe. Most people can do that in an evening, and then. But it seems to have lost something a little bit, and I think we're all a little bit losing that. Well, I think a lot of people are looking for that sort of middle ground. So it's a bit of historical accuracy, but hasn't lost all the playability. So you can actually play in a reasonable time. So that makes sense.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense, to be fair. Makes a lot of sense. It's one of those things, isn't it?
He thinks Clash. Sorry, carry on.
No, I was going to say it's one of those things, isn't it? That finding that fine balance, what makes you happy as a gamer, isn't it? Sometimes you really want to, grindy rule set because you want to be there, you want to feel it, you want to know the awkward complications of what was going on,
Yeah.
And that's what gets me with the Civil War is I want a rule set that's really grindy because I want to play the campaign. I want to do like the whole hog. I want to start at the start of the Civil War and work my way through it. See it, just play it out and see what happens. See if it makes any sort of difference. Would you be
better off playing a board game doing that?
Ooh, interesting.
Interesting. I just throw that out there because there are some fantastic board games and actually computer games as well. That literally you can do that grand strategy game. You can, fight a campaign from War if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And it's almost better suited than it is on the tabletop.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah. No, I never thought of it, to be honest with you. That's not a bad shout, Dom. To be fair. No, I hadn't actually.
No, because I know what you mean. It's always fun to do those mass games, and again, years ago, you used to get, and I don't think they still happen, but you used to get these, days where you could go and spend an entire day, entire weekend, where you would take the role of a certain commander on, say it was D-Day campaign, and somebody would take command of, one division, and somebody else would take the defenders, and somebody else would look after the air force. You'd have a political officer. You'd have all these people playing roles, almost like a proper war game, each taking roles, and then you'd have umpires who'd then bring in all the kind of stuff that was going on and share information about what you were seeing and what you were dealing with, and then throw a few curveballs in. And they were fantastic simulations, great fun to do.
Yeah,
hell of a lot of work, more like a role-playing game than anything else. And sometimes they had figures because they moved them on the table, depending on what you decided. Sometimes they didn't. Sometimes they didn't even bother with that. It was just map movements.
Yeah.
So that sort of was great fun. Really good fun to do.
Yeah.
Massive undertaking, though.
Yeah, I bet it was. Does sound interesting.
Do you think that
as say that
again?
Yeah,
did you think that I was going to say, do you think that as the industry sort of advances, the emphasis is going to be on small scale games? Do you think that's where? I mean, when new companies come out and write new rules, do you think that they're sitting down and writing, battalion style games, or are they going for that focused skirmish game?
Skirmish because they can get people into it easier and sell more stuff.
Precisely. Yeah.
You get the old school independents that are probably more likely that have always done those sort of things like mass battles and stuff will stay like that. But once it dies out, I think it'll be a very niche sort of rule set. I think it's going, especially now at the minute, it's going well skirmish, isn't it? Everything's skirmish, everything.
Yeah, I always think there's like three broad types of gaming, wargaming anyway. In historical, I'm talking, not in the funny fantasy worlds. But you got the competition gaming. So there's whole systems that are really just designed to be played as competition. And there are some rule sets that cross over, right? But primarily there are rule sets, like DBM and some of the early WRG systems were really designed for competition gaming. Well, that's where they sort of found their niche and continue to be very strong. Then you get the more sort of skirmishy games, fast play systems that, as I said, anybody can pick up and play relatively quickly. You don't always need a huge number of figures. You can play a game in a few hours. And then you get the third group, which is the diehard, historical guys, historical buffs who, don't mind spending days working through a game. In fact, they really want that. They want to have a much more of a simulation of the game, of a battle, of a war, of a campaign, and we'll do it that way. And I think they all have their merits, and in some cases, I think we can all sort of move around them. I know I have done in various stages, played competitions, done the simple stuff, and then the more complicated stuff, and it's nice to have that variety. I mean, it's one of the nice things when you do join a club, if there's different, factions within the club that do the different things and they're all welcoming and you can move around and do different things with each of them, because sometimes it is nice to be a bit more serious.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just want to go and stomp on people's heads as quickly as possible and have a right laugh doing it.
Yeah.
So it's what you want, really.
It's Wargaming is very much a mood thing, I think. It's probably the best way to describe it. It's whatever you fancy at that point of time.
It's also a mates thing, isn't it? It's what your mates do and what you enjoy. If there's certain people you love playing, a certain game with, bolt action maybe, just a couple of guys that you really like playing with, and it's a good laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Play bolt action.
Come and play it. Yeah, exactly that. It's just, it all depends.
That's what I was like.
Go on, mate. Sorry.
I was gonna say that's what I was like with X-Wing. I got into that game so much. It was just it's such an intuitive rule set, but it's Star Wars. So for me, you can't go wrong with any of that. But I said the other week, it's the only game I've ever played where I've gone to tournaments and played in tournaments. I've never wanted to do that with any other war game before, but with X-Wing, it was
a must.
I don't know, you just want to get involved in the whole tournament scene. And I had a really good time when I used to play in tournaments. But it's gone to 2, and we didn't bother the transition. So yeah, don't play X-Wing anymore.
Right. Okay. That's interesting.
Catch up with the chat. What have we got here? Sorry, just. So Paul says he thinks Clash will be okay as it's tournament compatible. So that kind of talks to what we're saying. That's the Clash of Spears rule set, which I think is very good. Leslie says there's not been a good set of rules for Ancients for a while, so Lardies will be very popular. Yeah. Seventh Son is getting very excited about Carthaginians. So,
Yay!
Good for him. Miller's Miniatures says it was worth picking up some of the Victrix Imperial Romans for the infamy. Yeah, I've got the Germans for that. That's a massive value. So you get 60 odd figures for 30 quid or something.
That's bloody good, isn't it?
Ian says, Steve, you should check out Horizon Wars Dark Zero, written by solo and PvP play. Written for solo and PvP. Horizon Wars.
There you go,
I presume
Steve.
that's a space game, is it, Ian? I'm guessing so.
I'll make a note of that.
Paul
Cheers, mate.
Paul says, check out Reality's Edge. Might just be what you're looking for. There you go.
It could be those droids you're looking
for.
So Paul says, playability, fun, and period feel for me. Yeah, I think we're all with you on there. Duncan's just in the house. Hi, Duncan. How you doing, mate?
Hello, mate.
Hello, mate.
Seventh Son is saying, I've gone behind. We're well behind on the chat here. Sorry, I'm catching up. Fire and Sword, he's saying, 30-year war in 15 mil. Great system, moderate level of complexity for historicals. Fire and Sword. Okay, interesting. There's so many bloody rules out there, right?
Yeah.
So many rules.
Yeah, there's. That's the problem. There's sometimes there's too many rules.
I love that. Leslie's just reminded me of a real retro rule set. Newbury Quick Play Rules. Never has a rule system been less appropriately named. Quick Play. No, it was bloody not. It was a freaking nightmare. To kill a king for pike and shot. Civil War campaign system at the back of it. Yeah, that could be true. I've seen that. That looked really good. Oh bloody hell, we're well behind it. Lee from Battle Bunker Blogs in the house. Hi mate, he's just off to work. Saying hi. I think that's it. Oh, Horizon War Zero Dark is a sci-fi skirmish game, cyberpunk and harder science fiction elements. Apparently, there you go. That's for you, Steve.
That sounds right up my boulevard. That does.
Hey, we got Chilly War Games. Hey, mate, see what I'm wearing in your honour today? I need t-shirts. Chill chat, war game, repeat. One of the coolest t-shirts I think I've seen anyone do. Love it.
It's quite cool, isn't it?
And I didn't even know you were going to be on the chat. There you go. Yeah. No, I think it's fascinating. I think the whole rule system thing is just the most. I'd love to actually spend some time with a proper, somebody who writes the rule systems and how they approach it, how they come at things, how they do things.
Asked to interview Rick Priestley.
Yeah, maybe I will.
Hello, Rick, mate. If I buy you a pint, you fancy having a chat?
Hey, Rick. Yeah. I played all your rule systems, mate. Some of them were good, some of them were shite.
Those ones that you did during Warhammer, fucking hell, Rick. What were you on, mate? Some sort of crack?
Yeah, what were you doing? What were you thinking of, boy?
Yeah.
What were you on?
Oh,
but it's fascinating. I mean, one of the guys in my club developed. He actually got me to play them, and they're actually pretty good. A rule set for 7-year war. No, 7-year war. What was it? A Mulberian period. That was it.
Yeah.
Blenheim and all that. And it's a period I've never played before. There's a video on my channel if anyone's interested. And he developed these rule sets, and I thought, oh my god, this is going to be a nightmare because he's a proper serious gamer, proper historical, takes it all very seriously. He's the sort of guy that, will say, oh, you got the wrong number of buttons on that tunic.
Not one of them.
And those sort. He's a nice chap. I'm being really nasty because he's actually a really nice guy, but he's very seriously into his gaming, right? And he's very much on the historical side of the thing, but. He developed these rules, and he said, "Oh, do you want to fancy a game?" And I said, "Yeah, why not? I'll give it a go." And he wanted to sell them, so he said, "Do you want to video it?" And I said, "Well, only 10 people watch my videos, but I'll video it and stick it up there, and of course I can." And it was good fun actually. It was really, he'd actually done that whole sort of, explained as he did it what the theory was behind his rules and why he'd approached things and the way he's done them, and the balancing act between simplicity, playability, but also keeping the historical flavour. And some things he said he had to compromise, some things he didn't. And I think it's a very interesting thing. And no rule is ever going to be perfect, right? And you're only ever going to find things that are
wrong with it.
Just suit you, and some things that don't.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's like everything in life, isn't it?
You haven't played a game with me yet, Dom.
Yeah, interesting.
Well, you tried to, but I screwed you over with the French, didn't I, that time? Yeah, I can take 3 anti-tank rifles, Dom. Battlescribe says it's all right.
He is the biggest con artist. I don't know why I'm surprised, Steve. I don't know why. Do you know what? Me and Ken have never actually played a physical game. We've never even met each other properly. We've only ever met through this stuff, right? And I feel like I know him so well because he cheats like buggery. I mean, sorry, he's creative like buggery. It's like he did this army list. We were playing Bolt Action, and he brought this army on. We were playing on Battlefield Simulator thing, and it was a French army, and it's suddenly like it's got three artillery pieces and
two artillery pieces. I was allowed 2 artillery pieces. It's French rule.
Yeah, and I told you about one of them, and it was like, oh my god, and then he was like, oh my god, and it was everything. It was like, where did this come from? Oh, I found this on some online site. Yeah, right, okay. Oh Jesus, it was so funny. Luckily, we didn't get through that game because you were going to absolutely tonk me in that game.
I was, and it was even better because it was against French.
Sit in. Oh, jeez. What a guy. So I'm really looking forward to stomping on you when I get these green skins moving, because
ain't
they are
gonna
going to
happen.
stomp.
No, it's not gonna
Yeah,
happen.
don't know actually. It's a green skin done. One done.
I've got a troll you can use
Quite
in a
enjoy
minute.
doing them.
Oh, look at that. I quite enjoy doing him. Think, Dom, if you didn't ever talk to me, well, you would never have ever got to paint these orcs. You'd have been like looking at it
doing my cred,
like it's filth. You'd have been like, ugh, what the
doing
fuck's
my
that?
doing my streaming cred, no good at all, mate. That's what I'm saying. No good at all.
I'm still waiting for Dom's video. Welcome to my video on painting 6mm French Napoleonics.
There's always Christmas, mate. There's always Christmas.
Yeah, in all seriousness, I did look at some of them 6mm, and I thought, because they're so bloody cheap, you could do a whole armies of them. And I thought,
yes.
don't be stupid. Just think of the piles you've got. And I keep mentioning one of the things I do want to do. I've got 15mm figures coming out my ears. Got piles of the damn things.
Yeah.
And they're all based up. And they all need rebasing and properly setting up. And that's what I need to do. I'm not going to do that. Oh, shut up, Miller. Miller's saying, have you seen Victrix are doing new 12mm Second World War range? I don't want to know. I just no.
The
Cheers,
man
Paul,
can't.
mate.
The man can't control his wallet. Leave him be. He's worse than me.
It's a disease.
I literally
Definitely it's a disease.
I think you're worse than me, mate. To be honest, Jesus, I thought I was bad at buying models. Christ, you love it, don't
Well,
you?
at least you get rid of them. If you do, I mean, I just keep them all. They're all kept, every single one.
Yeah. So,
actually, no, it's not true. I've sold about 10 figures.
Retail therapy, mate. Retail therapy.
Right, I'll tell you what, we did actually get a question in from the chat here, and I'm going to do it before we get too far in and forget about everything else.
Yeah, we will.
Because it was an absolute corker, right, from Peter Little.
Go on, Peter.
He's relatively new to the hobby, so he came out with this question, and I want to get your view on this one. So he said, why is it historical gamers are so particular on getting uniforms and equipment correctly identified and painting, but they do not get concerned that the figures are all exactly the same height? Surely, to be realistic, you should have short, tall, fat, thin, even thinner figures, especially if they're on a campaign. But some people won't even mix Perry, Victrix, or Warlord because of a slight variation. So how can that be reality?
Cool, that's a bloody good question.
Isn't it, Jeff?
That's a very good question.
I said that. Walker. It's true, isn't it? I mean, everybody. And I was joking about people worrying about all buttons of figures, but to a degree, it's true, isn't it? They all work really hard to get accurate, to do the research, and then we'll all get identically level figures in our units. Why?
That's
sharp,
I really don't know. Yeah, it's a strange one. That I've never even considered it. It's a bit of a strange one. That.
I could come.
Isn't it? Because you do. It's one of the things when you guys do videos and you put new some unboxings or talk about new ranges and what have you. And one of the questions you almost always get when you show a figure is, how does it compare?
Yeah.
How does it compare with a Perry? How does it compare with a Victrix? And it's like, but why are we bothered?
Yeah, no, it's
really weird.
It's a good question. I think people like uniformity, because we can't obviously have everything ultra realistic and everything like that. The thing we can control is the uniformity. I guess that could be your way of saying accuracy. I might be talking out my arse here, so just tell me if I am. But I think that's a way of controlling, maybe.
I know because I predominantly paint bolt action. I've not really painted very many Perrys. In fact, the only Perry miniatures I've ever painted, I painted a section of Deutsche Afrika Corps and those Napoleonics, and from 3 feet away, you could probably mix Warlord and Perrys together. It just wouldn't fit. It wouldn't sit easy with me because I would know there were different shapes, because the Perry ones tend to be, I don't know,
real scale.
the proportion. Yeah, the proportions are more anatomically correct.
Yes. Cool, that was a posh way of saying it.
It's weird though, isn't it? Because
I shut the window because that's. Yeah.
Oh.
It's. I mean, from 3 feet away, if you're stood up
there with what you said, because you said about they look different and you couldn't handle having those different manufacturers in the same unit. It is weird, but we do that, don't we? As gamers,
we do that.
Yeah, but see, now I'm the opposite. I don't mind. It don't bother me. It's weird, isn't it? It don't bother me. I've got some metal assault group and I've got Warlord plastics, and I mix them in. It's not too.
The only time I've done that was with
units.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't mix with individual. I wouldn't mix troops within a unit. So, I might have a unit of Perrys and I might have a unit of, Warlords, and I'd use them in the same army, but I wouldn't necessarily mix them in between.
Yeah.
I could do that. I could definitely do that, but I couldn't imagine combining like Warlord Deutsche Afrika Korps with Perry Deutsche Afrika Korps. For me, I don't. I mean, if they were kept as separate units, I could probably have them in the same army. But I couldn't mix them. I don't know. It's just I don't know. I really don't.
It's a good.
You're completely perplexed there, aren't you, Steve? I love it. Well done,
Yes,
Peter. You've completely got Steve blown his little mind.
Computer says
my
no.
My brain's frazzled.
Computer says
no.
No.
My brain is frazzled. About that.
It is so strange though, and when he sent that question, I thought, yeah, that is really odd because I've always thought I'm not overly bothered. I like my unit. I'm not obsessed with uniforms being perfect or anything like that. But that said, I will often look at figures. Like I say, I'll build a unit and I'll try and make them from the same manufacturer. And I was just thinking, why would I have a problem with them being different sizes and different shapes? Because that's reality. But if I was thinking about, some British Napoleonics, for instance, a line of red figures, and then the unit did sort of that up and down, and then dropped down because there was a couple of shorties, and then dive. It was like, would that look weird? It would look weird, though, wouldn't it? Is it just because they're on the tabletop? I wonder.
Yeah. Yeah.
The thing is, though, I mean, realistically, in a section of 10 men, those 10 men are all going to be the same height.
Ish.
Ever. So it would probably make sense to mix things in. You'd have bigger chaps, smaller chaps. It would probably make the unit more realistic when you come to think of it.
You could kit bash
precisely.
it,
well, then that's what Peter's saying. Is that actually that would make it more realistic? So you'd have, because if you go down to watch, I know we've got Windsor not far from here, and when normal times you go and watch them parading down there, you see the size difference between the different guardsmen. There's the size, and then the physiques, and then so is there a call? I've never ever seen this. It'd be interesting to know if anybody's ever seen this, but has anybody ever come out with a range that has a variety of different statures? The only time I've ever seen it is when you're doing things like Last Defenders of the Reich, and they've got the or partisan troops. You'll have small kids and what have you, and big fat men and all this kind of stuff. But that's the only time I've ever seen it. I've never seen like a British line Napoleonic unit that had different heights of figures or different.
No,
they won't do it because it costs more money, doesn't it, as well, for them to make the manufacturer, because they have to then have their molds differently and sculpts differently and all that. So it's a cost value. It's a cost thing as well. But I'm sure there is a company out there that do it for everything. Probably you'll find. It wouldn't surprise me, because if someone wants
Paul says he'd do it. He's quite happy to mix, but sometimes the scaling is out, so they have massive heads, hands, weapons, etc. If the companies did different heights, fat, thin, etc., that would be great. Yeah, that's probably true. Actually, it's more the sort of that depends are different.
Yeah.
That really does annoy me.
Yeah, if like Warlord in their variety of kits, made a shorter body. But then the problem is you got to then have the arms to go with it, because you can't have chunky arms and skinny legs, because then you got a bigger sprue. Where you got multiple.
But then again, if you go back to Napoleonic times, the grenadiers were always picked to be the biggest, strongest, the best soldiers in the battalion. So they, by nature, grenadiers were always bigger.
Yeah.
But they never asked figures.
At the same size.
That's got me really thinking that.
Good question. Good bloody question.
I think we did.
That was a corker, actually.
Oh, yeah. That's a real goodie. If anyone else has got a good question, doesn't have to be quite as good as that one, because that's completely flummoxed us. But let me know.
Yes,
because that was a real belt. I think it's really good.
Yeah, that is.
I don't know. It's an odd thing. It's that, because that thing that always gets me is, and I mean, it's funny. Your video this week, Ken, about your Stuart you painted up, and I think it was Leslie said something about, you're going to put some, mud and weather it and what have you.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I know Liam is not here tonight, but he's also really big on weathering tanks, and he was talking about doing a T-34 that just come out the factory for the Stalingrad book that was all sort of basically undercoated and nothing else and weathered in. And I love all that kind of stuff. But some people don't like doing it like that, do they? They want them to be absolutely immaculate. So they'll have these tanks, and you think, that is just such a beautiful job they've done there. But they would not have looked anything remotely like that.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I weather all my tanks to some degree, whether they're mud splattered, or they've got dust or melted snow, what have you. They all get some form of weathering. Here's a controversial one.
Ooh, we like
controversy.
We like controversy.
Well, it's not so controversial. Basing vehicles.
No.
Yeah.
No. If you do that,
no.
The only time you base anything that's got wheels is on an anti-tank gun, and that's to make it look cool. You do not base a tank. Sorry. No.
I base everything. Every tank.
We can't be friends.
I even based based a Kubelwagen on an old Flames of War base.
Oh no! Don't do it! Don't do it to me. It's nice for a diorama, but for gameplay, it's really annoying because that base could be huge, especially if you're crushing.
Has anyone built the Puma from Warlord Games?
Yeah, yes, I have, and I've magnetized every single wheel on it because they've snapped.
I spent ages doing that chassis.
Oh, it's an absolute fucking
nightmare. And then I remember I base all my vehicles, so nobody's going to see the underneath of this vehicle anyway.
No.
So like 45 minutes of complete hell.
Yeah.
Followed by realizing that no one's going to see it.
No one's actually going to see the bloody thing. Oh, mate.
So I swore verily at that. But no, sometimes if I post things on the Bolt Action group on Facebook, some people are like, why have you based your vehicles?
Yeah, I know. Because you want to, and it's yours.
Well, yeah, that's just the way it is. I mean, I like it. I don't go over the top. They're not massive. They're just all I use is a laser cut MDF.
Yeah.
On the Panthers, you can barely see it anyway. But some, I just like it to. It just gives it a bit of sturdiness, and it ties the army together.
And he said it wasn't controversial. Wasn't controversial, and here he is talking about basing bloody vehicles. Jesus.
Kenny's not going to let you get away with that one.
No.
Do you know, I have a mixture. So I the only time I do it, and I have some with you, Ken, I won't generally do it. I don't. Most of mine, I would say, just looking up here, probably about 90% of mine aren't based.
Yeah.
And I would rather they were.
Yeah.
The only time I don't is when they're not very sturdy. To your point, Steve. So the the swim thingy I just finished off.
Yes.
Rubicon. I wasn't convinced that it was strong enough to be just wheeled, so I put it on a base. There were a couple of others, the smaller models that tend to be a little, or the sprockets to hold the wheels just don't seem strong enough, and I don't want to risk it. I'll base them. But to Ken's point, I think my problem is because I'm going to be playing the vast majority, pretty much all the games I play are down the club. It depends on which mats have been put out, what the cloth's been put down. So if I have mine based on a particularly dark base that was perfect for one particular table, it might not be right for the next time, and it would look really odd to me. So I'd rather have them without the bases, so they can just sit purely on there. And also, as you say, Ken, when you're moving them around, the bases sometimes get in the way. So when you're trying to come around that corner and you just can't because the base just gets in the way.
Because you might get someone you might get someone who turns around and tells you can't put that there because it don't fit. It don't fit.
It's weird.
Yeah, I'm a bit worried about. Yes, I mean some of the bases that I've made recently have just been completely, just not even conducive to wargame. So I don't know what's going to happen when I start gaming again.
Your bases are entire dioramas in one thing. They're extraordinary. Just extraordinary. I think you've got completely carried away with it.
Some of them, yeah.
I think.
Okay, then leading from the based vehicles, what about based teams?
Based what? Sorry.
Teams, artillery pieces, etc.
Oh, that's fine. That if they don't have a base, then I'll cry, and it can't be a round base; it has to be a square base.
Oh no, hang on, that's
controversial.
Now you're going completely bizarre.
The whole team have to fit on that base. If they don't fit on that base, then no. The only exception to that is the 88.
I would rather have the crew separate.
No, I wouldn't.
But I find the convenience factor, I'll base them.
It doesn't look right if the crew are separate because they're too far away from the gun. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah, but then that stops the bloody HE splashing on them, doesn't it? No.
No, there's a rule that says you've got to be within 1 inch of that gun, no matter what. They thought of that.
It does. No, it's weird though because for a medium machine gun. So here's the thing, then, right? And get you back, Steve. So medium machine gun, would you have your whole 3 men based in it? I've seen some people have 2, or even just the guy firing the gun stuck on the base with the gun, and then the 2 other attendants, so they can be casualties separate.
I can't be friends with those people.
No, medium machine guns, mortar teams, even bazooka. Oh, hang on a second. No, bazooka teams. I've got for my US Marines. My bazooka teams are separate.
Yeah.
But for my German Panzer Shrek, they're all on one base.
That's not that. My Pierce on one base.
I know the answer from Steve. What about snipers then? I know Steve does massive dioramas for his snipers, but what about you, Ken?
Separate bases just for gameplay purposes. They're only infantry. I would put them on a single base. It'd be fine. I wouldn't mind it being on a single base. It's not a problem. It don't really bother me, but I tell you, I can't do tanks on a base. I'd rather. Oh my god, I feel sick.
Right, we can have a look at the chat. Well, Ken's trying to get his head back together again because that's completely blown his mind.
Oh man!
So what are we saying?
You could pass a road. You could be on a road and you could have a grass base and it just look wrong. No, you can't do that. Magnetize them, Steve. Magnetize them. Then you can take them off.
No.
Oh
no.
Oh god!
It's got to be laser cut MDF, mud.
Oh no.
Ralph says the head. This is about the scaling. He says the head should be 1/7 the height of the body, and the hand should cover the face. Look at the ranges, and the head is 1/5 the height of the model. They don't look right together. Probably true. Yeah. And he talks about different sizes of equipment. So yeah. Chilling Wargamers. He says maybe that's where 3D printing will come in. That's a very good point. So to your point about cost, Ken, 3D printer, if you could chuck out different scales, different size men, you could amend their sizes, make them slightly fatter or thinner. That would give you a chance to do your authentic size.
Maybe I should do that and start making a business. There's got to be stuff. There's got to be stuff people out there that want it.
Interesting. Would people actually buy it? That's the interesting thing. That's the bit I find weird. Paul says he bases 20 and 15 mil vehicles, but doesn't normally do bigger though. So what do you reckon about different scales? Does that change things?
Yeah, 15 mils are right. 15 mils are right on bases. 28 mil, no.
Nick's here. Hi, Nick. How you doing, mate? Did you miss anything? No, nothing at all.
Yeah, you missed a controversial subject. Who the fuck's calling me? Go away.
We've had some good old discussions, so and Ken's just had a complete meltdown, so it's all fun.
Yeah.
About bait, bizarrely. I don't know. Weird. I think Steve's just been kicked out from the squad. He's not allowed on anymore.
I haven't welcomed him back for next week.
I think I've committed Wargaming blasphemy or something.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't aware you had, to be honest, Steve, but clearly you had, because Ken is just he's not going to get over this one. He's got to go to work here. He's going to be kicking cats. He's going to be smacking cats. All sorts of things going to be going on. It's going to be horrendous.
It's going to my mate at work that I'm going to be working with is going to be really fucked off because all I'm going to bang on about all night is these bases on this 28 mil thing that he will not give a shit about. He'd be like, "What are you talking about? Bases on a tank? What are you going on about, Ken? Oh, it's my bloody YouTube again, isn't it?" And he'd be like, "Oh, I don't care, mate. Oh, but it's really annoying, mate. You got to understand. He wants to base his tanks."
Oh my! And Spud says
he makes transports as well.
What?
Spud says you can put stories on your bases, so you can have history to your tanks.
No,
interesting. Well, names, I guess.
Yeah, but what happens if you want to use
that? Did you see those new warlord ships they've done, where they've got the Second World War really small warships, and they've built massive bases on them, so you can put the names of the ships on them.
Yeah, I don't like that.
They're hideous.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Hideous. But it's a clever idea to get the name on, but it's just horrible. Well, why would you want that? Just
but you know the name of the ship because you bloody made it. You painted the bloody thing. Why do you need to know? What they doing to us?
Yeah, but when you get to my age, and I forget, I'll get figures out and think, what the hell was that?
That's right. Like, if I'm playing you as a battleship, I'll tell you it's a destroyer. Then
out these figures, what are they?
I'll tell you it's a destroyer, mate. If it's a battleship, all right. We'll go down that route.
Yeah, well, you bloody would. You'll probably end up having 15 battleships, even though that nation only had 3 in its entire navy.
Imagine
it's called Lend-Lease.
I imagine Ken would be like, listen, I've got on good authority that they actually had 6 Bismarcks, not the one. 6, absolutely 6.
So you're beginning to know him, Steve. That's exactly what he's like. He'll be, that'll be it. He can't even deny it. Look,
bastards.
I was going to say there was literally no denial there at all.
No,
none at all.
I know if Liam's watching this stream, he'd be pissing himself laughing at the minute. Oh, that's the thing. Dear. Yeah. Oh yeah, indeed. Oh yeah, indeed.
What we're talking about, whatever. It's basing. Yeah, basing. I think it does make a difference on size, doesn't it? I think the scale, also what you're playing, that makes a huge difference. So,
yes.
I mean, I think I guess because you play bolt action mainly, you guys, mind you play bolt action, don't you, Steve? So, yeah, why would you base a vehicle in bolt action?
I know.
I base everything.
I know. That's that's why we can't be friends.
It's weird.
I'm trying to think what other basing controversies there are.
There isn't, because there shouldn't be any. Dioramas is cool. Don't mind dioramas, like model makers. I don't mind. It's cool. I don't know. I get you try and tell a story of all your kit bash and stuff. I get that. I do understand that, but from a gameplay point of view, I just don't get it. Just doesn't.
Oh God, no! I mean, if I'm building something, gameplay comes second for me. The first is it going to look, quite good.
Right. Okay. See, the gameplay comes first for me.
Oh god, yeah, I couldn't care whether a win, lose, draw. It doesn't bother me. If I've got a nice looking army on a tabletop, I'm happy.
Right. Okay.
That probably is the point, isn't it? Yeah, it's which way round you come at the game times in the past. But yeah, why do you game? And is it just to get the figures on the table? Why do you paint? It's just to get the figures on the table. Do you just love the painting itself, and almost it's irrelevant to get the figures on the table? It's how you approach the hobby. I guess that does make a difference.
Yeah.
That said, a really nice basing makes such a difference to the painting, doesn't it? I mean, it's one of those things that I tell people when they ask for, not that many people ask me advice for my painting quality, but I'll say just washes and basing. If you wash a figure well and it looks good after that, and you base it nicely, it just accentuates the figure and makes it also look so much better.
Yeah.
Such a.
I think when we were all doing the painting tips videos, the one that always sticks with me was one that Leon came up with, which is bases and faces. Yep. You get them correct, you got a good figure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Kaiser's in the house. Good evening. How you doing, mate?
Evening.
Rolling for advantage.
Evening.
Crikey, good old crew turned up tonight. I think, did I see Leon earlier? I don't know whether I missed him. There were so many names coming, so many things coming in through the chat, and also Steve was completely confusing everybody with his outrageous suggestions about basing tanks. It threw me out completely. So apologies if I missed anybody. I think I saw Duncan was in there. I don't know when I pulled him out. Apologies, guys. Aye.
I didn't know Duncan.
So we're going to talk about now channels.
What we on? Did you have any other questions?
Where we are now, it's completely derailed us all completely here. So here we go. I know what we're going to say. We're going to look at inspiration and stuff. So today,
yeah.
Do you know what happened today in 12:15? Not at 12:15, not lunchtime. I mean, in the year 12:15.
You sent me a message with it earlier, and I've completely forgotten.
I knew you wouldn't have even read it, mate. So it's fine.
I did. I read it. I was like, I had my head down.
It was a signing.
Magna Carta
today.
That's it.
Signing of the Magna Carta 12:15 today, apparently, according to my Dan Snow book history.
Well, at that time of day, I would actually have my head down a rat-infested pit. So, yeah, that was
more shaven, were you?
Yeah. I was looking for more shaven ones.
And of course, on Wednesday, biggest date in the Napoleonic calendar for most people. Well, those who on the right side, obviously, it was Waterloo.
Yeah, I was going to say Waterloo.
18th of June, Battle of Waterloo, 1815. So
make sure you watch the film.
Do those sort of things get you excited about gaming? Do they inspire you? What inspires you to get on with particular figures and particular period?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
No.
I know. No, for me, for my, if I pick up one of the armies of books from Bolt Action, that tends to, I think, oh, how could I make them? How could I paint them? What would it be interesting to put them together? So normally it's just reading books. Like I said the other week, it was the book I'm reading at the moment about Monte Cassino. That really inspired me to start Italy-based Fallschirmjäger. Sometimes just reading a book like that really, really does set you off.
Yeah, it does sound like it. I don't know what gets me going, to be honest. Certain aspects of the times in the war. So like D-Day obviously gets me thinking about D-Day and the paratroopers and stuff like that. Market Garden does the same. Especially, if you listen, I listen to a lot of audiobooks, don't I? So for me, it's whatever I'm listening to at the time really gets me blood going, thinking about it, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's pretty cool.
Is that purely factual books or fiction, or fiction books as well?
Oh, fiction or faction, factual or fiction. Sorry, because if I'm listening to Warhammer, it makes me start thinking about dwarfs.
See, on that point there, Ken.
Yeah.
I've been playing what's it called? Inquisitor Martyr on the Xbox.
Yeah. That's got you thinking 40k, isn't it?
I don't know. Yeah, that got my 40k juices flowing again for some reason.
It's not good.
It's the. I was kind of a gross analogy there. I do apologise for that. But actually, no, the lore and the background.
Oh yeah, it's the law, isn't it? That's the problem. The law just gets you going, and you're like, you bastards! I don't want to spend money in your shop.
I know. But I've put a stop to it.
Here comes the anti-GW rant coming.
Unless you bring back fantasy
I wasn't
properly.
going to mention it. Right. Has anyone seen that Space Marine ATV?
Oh fucking hell! The Mario Kart mobile. Hey, that's all the Mario and Luigi.
Talking another language again. I have no idea what they're talking about.
You don't know what Mario Kart is? Oh my god!
I know what Mario Kart is. I don't know what.
There's a space.
Imagine Mario Kart 38,000 years into the future.
Oh my god, Dom! It's like you can't even turn this thing. It's bloody ridiculous.
Oh my god!
It can't turn because it's got no axis to steer. It just doesn't make sense. It's just the most stupidest vehicle I've ever seen. It's like an intern has been allowed to design something, and it's gone to production without being checked. And some people are paying good money for it. And I'm like, oh my god, that's going to be like 40 quid, that model. Who the hell is going to buy that? But of course, they're going to make the rules so good, everyone's going to buy it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I wouldn't like to be driving
them because it's.
I wouldn't like to be driving that thing when the dude's firing the gun.
No, I wouldn't either, unless you want to be tone deaf.
Jeez. But no,
it's weird though.
I just wanted to get that out of the way because when I saw that on Saturday night, and I was actually sat there laughing by myself. I felt quite sad actually.
Don't know what's
Paul
happened.
says it looks like the banana split buggy.
Yeah, it's horrendous.
Oh my god, that was a series I loved. God, jeez, I love that thing. There's some comments here about this. So Miller says, been watching The Last Kingdom lately, and it's been making me want to do Vikings and Saxons. Yeah, I get that. Definitely. Books, films. You know what the weird thing is, and what got me thinking about this one when I was reading Dan Snow's book about this book he does with a different page telling you what happened on this every day of the year, and it's kind of fun. It's my toilet reading, frankly. So I'll sit there and read about what's happened that day,
stuff.
and it's kind of interesting. Yeah, just taking the mind off things. But one of the things that got me thinking about was that years ago, with the inspiration, we used to see loads of war films. So on telly, you turn on and the Sunday afternoon movies, there'd be, some black and white desert war going on, some, absolute tosh of a battle, and there'd be some, I don't know, a medieval Henry V type film or something on, and all these battle scenes and everything as a kid, would get me absolutely salivating about historical gaming and playing toy soldiers, and I couldn't wait to rush off and buy a figure range that would match, whatever it was. Mentioned Ken the Waterloo movie when that came out. It's just like, wow, I've got to go and get my Airfix Waterloo figures and paint them up and play Waterloo and all sorts of things. And it doesn't really happen anymore, does it? I mean, there are some very good war films out there, but you don't really get that anymore. So I just wondered, with the young uns today, where they get their inspiration from.
The internet.
Because it just
to a degree, you've probably got. Yeah, I mean, to a degree, you've probably got Band of Brothers or The Pacific. That's the ones I can think of in recent memory. But war films.
Yeah.
No.
A lot of modern.
I really can't think of any that.
There's a lot of modern.
Not modern
there's
ones.
been some cracking films. I mean, really good. Saving Private Ryan and Band of Brothers, and the U-boat one was a absolutely fantastic films. Really, really well done. Then there's less fantastic, but equally kind of inspiring things like what was the tank thing about the Sherman that took on the entire German army?
Fury.
Oh God. Oh.
Yeah, Fury. That one. That's the one. But again, twash, and a lot of the films used to be fairly twash, but they were kind of exciting, and you just, as a kid, you wanted to rush out and get a Sherman and fight those kind of games and what have you. But don't seem to be that sort of thing anymore. I just wondered. I mean, maybe that's why there's only lots of old sad gits like us playing historical all the time. Not you, Ken, because you're still relatively young.
I'm 30.
Oh, Elston's in the house. Hiya, mate. How you doing? Good to see you. We got the whole Chilling War Games crew over. Yeah, Leslie says too many channels, so films get diluted in different ones. Yeah, probably true. There was something on last night which I videoed, but I haven't actually gone to look at it. But it was all about barbarian warlords and stuff. Which,
Christ, I know you're old, Dom. You said bloody videoed.
I don't know. I haven't even been drinking, and I can't even. Whatever.
Bloody video.
I am old, mate.
I tell you what.
Old. What can I say?
I'll tell you what I did record, but I've not got around to watching it yet. It's I think it was either on PBS or the Smithsonian Channel, and it was it was 6 parts, an hour each, about war in the Pacific. So 6 hours of war in the Pacific goodness. I've not got around to watching that yet, but it looks. Oh, it's in color as well. It looks really, really good.
That sounds quite interesting.
There are some fantastic documentary type things like that you get on those channels, which are actually quite inspiring.
Yeah.
So I think, in terms of giving you ideas for periods or for, different troop types or what have you, it can be very good. And a lot of historical footage, particularly in those Second World War ones, really, really good. I mean, quite graphic at times, quite scary. But, yeah, it's weird.
Oh, that's really weird, Dom. Look.
Apparently, Duncan's wife's cousin Jake was in Fury, played a medic. So his fault then, is it, Duncan? Fair enough. Gee, I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? Because I do think about this whole thing about inspiration of what you read and what you do, and I'm you've seen. Oh well, hey, Ken's flying. Look at that. Hey, nice job, mate.
Based, good. Done. Finished. Sit back and relax.
Don't sit back too much.
I'm just going to go open my
window.
Yeah.
40 degrees here.
Bit warm, mate.
Hot here as well.
It's not too bad. I got the window open.
There he goes. Oh, Kaiser says that thing was about Hannibal crossing the Alps, and it was pretty disappointing. Ah, shit. Okay, fair enough.
Watch Daz Boat. Yeah. Watch Daz Boat, mate.
That's a cracker, isn't it?
Yeah,
I love that.
I've watched it in
really
I've watched it in German, and I've watched it with the English dubbed. They're both great films.
Nice.
And they've done a series on Sky. There's 2 series of it now, of Daz Boat. Yeah, that's pretty good as well.
I saw the first series. I really, really enjoyed it. It's just very good.
The second,
I didn't even realize
one. Yeah, it's only just come out. The whole thing. It's got all 8 episodes. Binge watch it.
Oh, that's definitely something. I have to wait for Mrs. C to go to sleep, and I can turn that sort of thing on.
Yeah, it's great. Really that's what I normally do. That's precisely
that dead of the night when you can sit and watch something decent on the telly and open a beer and watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, apart from you tonight, mate, because you're working.
At least I don't baste my fucking tanks.
I'm never going to live this down, really, am I? This is
you're not.
That's just my thing now.
Yeah, that's it, mate. You've been branded.
Brilliant.
He's a tank baser.
Apparently, Paul's uncle was in The Bridge Too Far and Oliver. There you go.
Bridge Too Far.
So we're surrounded by people who've got claims to fame like you wouldn't believe. Jesus.
Bridge Too Far.
Ever been any movies, you guys? No.
No. Yeah, Harry Potter. I played Ron Weasley. I was his sexier, better half. Oh, dear, oh dear.
I love it. I love it. I don't know. So, what are you going to be doing this week then, Ken? What are you going to get up to? You're not going to tell us anything about your secret project.
No, I'm sure people have guessed what it is, but they're not gonna know until the video comes up. Yeah,
I keep hoping you're going to let something go.
No, you've let it slip a few times on your channel. I'll be able to some of your videos.
No, I've just mentioned that I'm going to get my orcs out and go and stomp you. That's all.
Yeah.
But I might have mentioned who I'm going to go and kill. Doesn't mean I'm telling anybody what you're doing.
No, exactly.
Dwarves.
Yeah.
I mean, not no dwarves. No dwarves. No, not saying a word.
No, exactly. Yeah, I'm going to continue working on those, and yeah, still staring at these ships. Still waiting. Never to be done. I keep drip feeding Liam models. That's quite funny. Being a proper taskmaster with that.
He's not keeping up with it. It's not good enough.
No, he's not, cheeky sod. He's only bloody. He's using the excuse. I'll show you some of his painted miniatures. Actually, he's done this. So he's done some rats. That's like an ogre that your equivalent. I'll find you a taskmaster. Actually, give me 2 seconds. Has he actually done one? Yes, he has. There you go. It's like a taskmaster there of his whip.
Oh, very good.
So yeah, he's done a few Skaven. So we'll have a Skaven army done as well, ready to face whoever, orcs or whoever.
And have you got any further with your 24-hour marathon thing? So you better tell the viewers if they weren't here last week.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it was. Yeah. So I'm looking into doing a 24-hour live stream. Hopefully Dom can get involved. Anyone's welcome in the YouTube community. If they want to come down and take part, you have to get down to lovely Hampshire. And yeah, we're going to play some games for 24 hours. Not one continuous game of one game of bolt action, for example. Play loads of different types of games. So you might, depending on who comes, depending on what we play. So we might get some Napoleonics in. You might get something, some World War II. Well, you get bolt action for sure. Might be some epic. There's going to be a variety, but we're going to do it for charity. So not got any further in organising the dates, but I will be making some inquiries over the next week or so. So yes, keep your calendars free for August. Hopefully.
Sometime in August. Hopefully we can all get out and actually meet up and do something for real.
Yeah, and we can.
Other than that, you've got to hope and you can game outside.
Yeah, and we can have some
beer. Keep, meter or so distance from somebody should be fine, shouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be a real pain in the bum to do. I'm sure we'll manage. But yeah, no, it's doing all right. Still there in the fort. But yeah, nothing much else really this week. Over the next week, I'll just be painting that because obviously I'm on nights, so I'm gonna only have a few hours during the day, and then I'll be going to work. So it's only for this week, and then I'm on call. So I'm on call Friday. Oh god, I'm already tired, and I've got to stay up for the next 10 hours. That's great, isn't it? So I'm on call Friday for a week. So we'll put Monday in as I'll be doing it, but I could get called out. So you might be left with just Dom and Steve and his tanks that he bases, which I still can't get over. That. I can't. I just seriously. I'm gonna have to phone Liam after this. I'm gonna have to phone Liam. Say, did you watch the stream, mate? And he'll be like, no, I didn't watch it. I say, mate, you're not gonna believe what Steve does. And he'll be like, what's he do? I say, he's fucking blasphemous, mate. He bases his tanks. What the fuck?
And transports.
Oh my god, no. That's like, oh no, you base it. Why? Well, I bet they've got wheels. Anything with a wheel doesn't need basing. Everyone knows that.
Transport, trucks, half tracks, Kubel wagons. Yeah, based. Everything gets based.
I bet you base an armoured car as well, don't you? A little armoured car.
Completely out of hand.
Yeah. Oh. Puma is based. And the what's it? The French Panhard A1878 AMD. That's based as well.
But what happens if you want to play a winter scenario and you've got a green, like bloody Normandy base?
I just have to suspend my belief.
Or just pour some flour over it.
He's not having it, Ken. He's not.
Or pour some flour over it.
Yeah, pour some flour over it for the game. That'd work.
I mean, have you seen the have you seen I've got a pack. Yeah, I've got a pack 40 with Germans. That's on a 10x10 base.
What? 10x10? Jesus.
10x10? That's enormous.
10x10.
Holy shite.
Mind you, I suppose that's I don't know.
Centimeters or inches?
Yeah, the pack 40. No, centimeters.
Jesus, I'm going to say 10 inches.
No,
that's 10 not inches, too bad.
That's no, yeah, it's a piece. It's 100 mil by 100 mil.
Well, let me put it this way, Steve. Unless you're a basis Stalingrad suspicion, you won't be playing on my board, mate.
What about
my
basing
HQ is based on a DVD? That's good.
Yeah, mine's
basing HQ. They've gone completely mad.
What? Oh, Steve.
What?
Yeah, but line of sight, mate. Line of sight. It matters. It matters. You can't say they're all hid behind the wall with one sticking out.
To be fair, it's my Stalingrad Germans, the only ones who've got a full command section on one base.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Unless it's in a building, then it's all right.
No.
So here's the thing, right? So we're talking about basing everything up. So I see some people do, and I think probably you've done this as well, Steve. Some absolutely gorgeous bases where they'll even have a wall or something like that built into the base because it looks really nice. So then you're moving it across an open field in the game, but it's got a wall going with it. That's weird. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, the only time I'll put with things that aren't going to move. So MMG teams, mortars, pieces of artillery, tend to go a bit more overboard with those. But just random rank and file, I probably wouldn't. But things that are going to sit at the back of the table and miss, like I do on my games of ball action, they get nice bases with all kinds of stuff on them.
Yeah, I don't mind putting bushes and stuff on like a mortar team or a Piat team that looks like it's in a bush, you know. Because you could say that's in a field, you know. There's a bit of shrubbery in the field. It's a bit more awkward when you're playing in an urban game, admittedly. But oh no, not tanks. We'll leave it now.
Yeah, my French artillery's got bits from the ruined hammer on it.
Oh no. Yeah, that's not too bad, but your World War II tanks, I think he was just trying to give me a heart attack, you know? Trying to do something.
It was working, mate. It was working. Evening, Phil. How you doing, buddy?
It's when he goes, this is kind of controversial. What do you mean kind of controversial? This is controversial.
Take a deep breath, Ken, for God's sake. Jesus Christ, he's completely lost it tonight. Look at this.
Too hot.
He hasn't even mentioned his...
Ken,
well,
here we go. Stir the pot again.
Ken, is there anything that would transcend base? What's more of a blasphemous sin than basing tanks?
I don't think there is.
Unpainted figures.
Oh yeah, unpainted figures. Yeah, grey plastic.
Yeah.
Grey plastic. Not even primed. Not even primed. But I can forgive if you're a new player. But if you're a veteran that's been playing the game for years and you come at me with grey plastic, oh dear, you'll get the look of shame.
What an unpainted tank that's been based.
oh my! What are you trying to do to me? He's trying to wind me up, isn't he? I'll tell you what. If you come at me with unprimed miniatures and you've been playing the game for years, I think I'd offer to prime them for you there and then, just so they've got. Oh, what are you doing, Dom? Do you know the other thing I really hate? Do you know the one thing I really hate more than anything else is when you get the Warlords artillery guns like the Pack 40 and you put it on that circular base so it sticks off.
Hang on, I got one of them in here somewhere. Hang on, hang around. There you go.
It's got to be on a square, like a rectangle. Oh, Dom, what are you do? No, Dom. See, that's all right. No, that's all right because that's a light anti-tank gun. That's fine because your miniatures. Yeah, miniatures are on
I'll find a big one.
It's when you got like a big ass gun that's sticking off of it. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh, hang on, I got that somewhere around here. Hang on. Hold on. Bear with me. Everyone's seeing my stomach now. How about this one? I made this one. That's got a mixture of the two.
Oh, Dom. Why, Dom? Why?
Dom, I like that. I approve of that.
I thought that was all right. I thought that was quite good. I thought it was I've even got some shell cases there and some empty crates and what have you. It's all very good, I think.
I probably
I
lost.
thought that was quite creative.
I've probably lost subscribers tonight. They're like, this geezer's going on about bloody bases all the time. What's
I have to say, those are about the only vehicles I've got that are based up, to be fair. And in my defence, the Stug, I bought that on the interweb, on eBay, and it was already like that, and it was so nice, I just left it.
I got a comment from Leslie saying, Ken, we found an American rifle pits in a garden when renewing the water main. Now that's interesting. That's pretty cool, Leslie. I like the sound.
Nice.
I like the sound of that. Pictures.
Leslie, as we know, is in northern France.
Yeah.
So he gets a lot of that stuff. Although he's just pissed me off by saying games at the club last weekend. So his wargaming clubs are open.
What about?
Okay. That's just it's just not on. Miller says, "What do I think about the Victrix new 12mm World War II?" Mentioned them earlier. I haven't, to be honest, mate, not seen them, and I don't know what I feel about them really. Victrix will be good quality, I'm sure. Be really nice figures, but I don't know. 12mm.
Not another.
I like 20mm and 25 and 28mm for World War II.
12mm is a
weird
bizarre
size,
scale.
Yeah. Mm.
I like 6mm and 28mm.
I think 6mm for really, really big battles is fun. 20mm was always my go-to for the sort of next scale down for Second World War, and then 28mm obviously for bolt action and chain of command and all those kind of things, skirmish type games. But I don't know, 12mm just seems wrong. I don't know why. Isn't it weird, all these different scales that are coming out? It used to be very clear. It was 6mm, 15mm, 25mm, and then 54mm, and some people would play. Now there's all these bit weird scales coming out. Oh, okay, Leslie says 12mm was the minifig scale. Really? I suppose it could be then. Well, maybe that would fit in quite well with some of my 15mm. Some of my 15mm are very, very old. But then I haven't got a Second World War, so I wouldn't, as you were.
No. I'm trying to get you to buy more, Dom.
But I'm not buying any more. No, that's it. No more. Not buying any more. Honest.
Yeah.
You believe that? You believe anything?
Yeah, right. You got the postman coming tomorrow, aren't you?
No, all those orcs are going to turn up. So I'm hoping it's when the missus is back at work.
Oh, mate. You know what'll happen? I'll come up your gaff and I'll be like, "Oh, Dom, did you get that army through, mate? It cost you like 400 quid, didn't it?"
No, they're not actually. But that's what I said to you earlier. They actually were really, really cheap, and that's what surprised me because I looked through and I thought, well, you know, the ones you gave me are brilliant, and I've been enjoying doing them. And but I thought that's not going to be enough. I need more.
You're like me, mate.
More.
You're like me, mate.
And so I found them online. And I thought,
once you get a taste of it, that's it. You're like having a little look. Oh, I could expand that unit. I could do this. I could do that. Exactly like me.
Well, the thing is, I haven't even got the bloody army list. I haven't even worked out what army list or anything yet. I've got the book that you made me buy.
Yeah.
What's it? The Warhammer thing.
Yeah, the Orc Codex. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. But I still want to get you on this oak.
Yeah, we'll try it.
I think this is going to be really
fun. We'll try it. Yeah.
Might even do a video on this because I was really quite impressed with these. They look quite fun.
Do a video on it. I can check it out. How much was the rules? How much were they?
20 quid. Yeah, 20 quid. They weren't expensive.
I might order it then.
Because they're a really nice book.
Hardback, is it?
Maybe. Yeah, it's hardback. Osprey. So there's some lovely images in it.
Yeah, I'll have a little look.
And they just seem like. Look at that. I don't know whether you can see that. No, you probably can't too much of a shine.
No. You can see there's double page artwork. No, but I like the idea of what you were saying, Dom, last week when you saying you make your own little your own kingdom up. That's pretty smart. You can make your own lore up basically. That's pretty cool. Do like the look of that.
Yeah, I think it's crying out to be a campaign type thing. It really is absolutely perfect for that. If you played a series of campaigns or linked games, I think this would be awesome because you can. I think there's even sort of things like you can improve your characters and things like that as well.
That's pretty cool.
I thought it was really clever, really cleverly done. So yeah. Anyway, that's for the future. I've got to get the paint. Got to get the orcs painted yet.
Can't be too long, mate. Lockdown's ending
Oh
soon.
yeah. No, I know. I've got all these where they've gone. I can't find them now. The Germans have all got to be done next. That's what I really want to do. You're stopping me by doing my Germans. You are.
Just think, when you've done your orcs, you can do your Germans.
Yeah, but I got to stop buying orcs, then I can do my Germans. Apparently, Listra do 12mm and Great Escape do 12mm World War One. Okay, didn't know Great Escape did 12mm. That's interesting. Nick says he bases his 50mm British rifle platoons for the Great War with Vallejo's still water as small mud water puddles. Oh, I bet that's.
Yeah, I bet
He
that's
says
pretty
it was
cool.
a complete mud, but I bet that looks lovely. Oh, I'd love to see that, Nick. Have you done a video on that, mate? I bet that's really cool.
That does sound pretty cool.
So small, and even then they had to dry and shrink down to size. Yeah, blimey. Yeah, I bet that's one of those ideas you start doing. You think this would be great for the basing, and once you've done a couple of them, you think, "What the hell was I thinking of?"
Yeah.
You ever done that when you start on a camp, when you start on an army or a? Well, you must have done this, Steve, because you do some amazing dioramas. Have you ever started them and just go, I wish I hadn't started this. This is just going to be too much because you've got to do a whole load more units that fit in with it.
I think when I did those SAS Desert Raiders, so it was 8 in 24, 26, but it was 26 individual cork bases.
Ow.
And they're quite quick to make, and they look really really good. But it's I don't know. It's not interesting making them. Once you make the first one, you think, ooh, that looks really good. 27 down the line, thinking I'm bored of these. But the effect looks really good.
What about you, Ken? You ever started down a particular design you think this is going to be fantastic, and after you've done about 10 figures you think, I really wish I hadn't come up with this idea?
Yeah, actually, yeah, it was my Americans. Was the first time I did static grass, and I did the whole base static grass. It was with a flock, one of the flock things.
With the old applicator
Yeah,
thingy.
the flock applicator. Oh yeah, it took ages. And I was like, oh my god, why am I still doing this? After about the 10th figure, and then I had about another 35, 40 to go, plus anti-tank teams and bloody machine guns, and I'm thinking, what am I doing to myself? Why am I doing it? Oh, my orange bucket's visible. Hello, orange bucket. Hello. The bucket of balance is visible. There we go. That should be all right.
Oh my god.
It's not basing, but my human Blood Bowl team. I just chose the most inappropriate color scheme. They're green and green ochre, so the effect looks quite good, but painting them was absolutely just painful. I mean, the green ochre, I had to put about 10 coats of it on just to get like an even coat of it, even coverage. But with I even had to make alterations to them because the thought of having, because you get 2 of each figure in the box. I don't want 2 of each figure, so I want to make the first 8. I was looking at ways of chopping the other ones into pieces and making new ones.
Yeah.
So it's just basically head swaps and cutting off bits of armor, and I think one of them's got a space wolf's head. But yeah, that was a pain painting them.
Yeah. I've not really had Oh, those Napoleonics to paint. They're nice when they're done. It's just I've never painted Napoleonics before, so I didn't really know what I was in for. But nah, I don't think I've ever had anything that I thought, oh my god, why am I painting these? Oh no, tell a lie. Back in the day, my Imperial Guard. Oh my god, I had so many of those to paint. It was unreal. I had the guardsmen. I had about I don't know 80 or 90, and I had them in a bloody queue. This is when I first started painting. Oh my god, what was I thinking going Imperial Guard for my first ever army? Yeah, not good at all. But no, that's probably about the only one. Everything else I seem to be doing. I quite like these Monday sessions because I'm actually funny enough getting these Lord of the Rings stuff painted, and I'm really happy with him. This troll, well happy, quite buzzing. I wasn't actually going to do anything tonight, but do you know what? I'm buzzing.
Well, I've almost finished painting the skin on all 40 of these, and it's been quite excruciating. The thing is, though,
I was trying to think when you said that about the things. I don't think there's been anything I particularly. I mean, I don't much like.
You don't like painting horses?
Red. Don't like painting orcs. No.
No horses.
No, I've been. Horses. Oh, horses. Well, no, I don't mind that so much anymore. No. I don't mind that so much.
Your original painting technique.
I've moved on from
that. Yeah.
I don't think I had an original technique. That was part of the problem. I just sort of endured it, and that was the problem. And then I came to the Nevada that is contrast paints, and it became easy. And then they will be done. It was easy. No, so I think that was it. But I think, definitely used to be horses. They were always the thing that I hated doing, which is weird because I love playing cavalry in pretty much every period of gaming that I do. I really enjoy cavalry charges, and if Napoleonics give me command of the cavalry, and I'll enjoy doing that, or the English Civil War give me the royalists, cuirassiers, and I'll go and play with them. But painting them, nah, hated it. But now not so much. So I think the only one I still have a bit of a thing about is, which is bizarre, is British redcoats. The combination of white and red for American War of Independence or Indian War or British Napoleonic troops. That just is horrible. I think if they were just red or just white, I have less of an issue. It's the combination. And when you're trying to do white and then you just splosh a little bit of red, and then you're gonna have to do a whole load of extra coats of white just to get rid of that little tiny splodge of red, and then you just about finish, and then you put the white on the red, and because neither color is easy to hide from each other, and it's just like
no. I love painting red. Absolutely. I really, really love painting red. You can't stand it, can you? Very much.
I say red on toad, no problem. Don't mind it at all. But red and white, nah, don't like that.
No, I found that painting those Napoleonic French, it was the white that got me. Painting blue, I've not got a problem with, but white is such an unforgiving color. You can't leave a dab of white on a figure. But if I'm painting bolt action, my bolt action figures are riddled with mistakes and splashes. Because they're really drab colours, you don't notice them. No. Do it on a Napoleonic infantryman. Oh god, I spent more time fixing mistakes than actually painting them.
Yeah, that's why camo's all right sometimes, because once you put a wash on it, you can't tell. That's what I like about camo.
Yeah.
Just go crazy with
it. It's weird, isn't it? Well, I think that's why Napoleonics and Ancients, to a degree, medieval certainly, it's so much harder because there is that zero tolerance almost. You can't get it wrong. Whereas I think Second World War, as you say, by the time you put a wash on it and maybe a bit of shading here and there and a bit of dry brush over the top, it's like you wouldn't notice it. You might do because you can see it, but 9 times out of 10, even then, you don't notice it until you've been playing. I remember playing with figures on the table and then been playing about 4 or 5 battles, and then I'll get one out of the box and think, "Oh shit, I've just noticed that."
I missed this. Yeah, I missed that. Yeah,
blue or something. like, how did I miss that?
Yeah.
That's why
But I
I
do
like
notice it
painting.
on doing the videos is kind of good because you see them on the light with the light. I see them a lot clearer, and I'll look at a video and I'll think, oh shit, I've missed that bit there, or
We miss it. Under
I've
the
just
arms
seen.
is a bastard. You always forget under the arms or miss that bit under the arm. Like
Yeah.
in the armpit area or something like that. You're like, you son of a gun, you look done. And then you notice it in a video and you're like, you absolute git.
Do you know what it is for me? Mold lines. Oh, there's all you can. You think you've got them all. You think you've cleaned up a perfect miniature, and you paint it, and you go and shorten a video, and you're like,
It's mold
bollocks.
It's
just it's normally like really obvious as well.
Yeah.
I'm like, how did I miss that? Oh, it's mold lines. No.
Do you know what I call them now? No. Armor joints. There you go.
It's true. The other bit you find is on these figures here, you get where the gun runs down to the arm, the crook of the arm.
Oh yeah,
and that'll
the
sometimes
brown
fill
rifle. Yeah, the brown rifle. Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I'll remember, and I'll get a drill in there and file it out and what have you, and it'd be fine. And then then another time I'll forget, and I'll get like you do. Gun will probably be one of the minutes as I'm doing that, I go, oh shit, and you think, no, I'm not going to bother. Just leave it. But it's harder on the Napoleonics and things like that because it is less forgiving. On the darker troops, when it's dark colours, it's so much easier to hide them.
Well, this is where you'll be quite loving your unit of 20 orcs, because you'll look at them and you won't be able to pick anything out wrong individually because they just look like a big blob of units, and you'll be like, no, they look fine, and then you look away. And it's only when you start drilling into every single one you think, oh yeah, there's something wrong with that one.
I don't know what you mean. My orcs are beautiful. I love them. They're perfect. Absolutely perfect. Miller's Miniature says he put a video up today for some Romans and noticed front and centre I hadn't painted one of the pylons.
Oh no. To be fair, I've done it. I've started doing a video and I've noticed I've completely missed a machine gun off or something, and I'm like, oh bugger. So it's quickly go back, edit, done, do. It's like, I guarantee you, I'm looking at this bloody troll. I guarantee, there you go, straight away I've seen something under his armpit. I've missed a tiny bit of bloody skin. There you go. What a surprise. Straight in, tiny bit.
Paul says it's apocalypse here. There's hundreds of birds flying south. What the chuff is going on? It's the end of the world, mate. Didn't you know? We're all doomed. It's all doomed. I mean, there's anarchy on the streets. There's world in recession. There's a pandemic, and people are putting bases on their tanks. I mean, it is just absolute pandemonium around here. But also, on the good news, he's done all his Batavarians apart from 6 ambush bases. Bastard. Because I want to do them next. And I can't because some got me into orcs.
Wag! You got to do that. You got to do that, Dom. Wag!
Do you have to say Ruddy Farmer?
You'd have to watch some lore videos on YouTube. You have to type in orc lore and just watch some of the videos on that.
Listen, I joined a Facebook page on orc called Orcs and Goblins or something. I defriended it after about 10 minutes because it scared me. It was just full of weird, very, very weird people. And I just thought, oh no. I only joined because I wanted to see what colour schemes and things people were using, and I thought that might be interesting. But a lot of them seem to talk in some sort of weird language, which I can only assume is Orc.
Yeah.
Either that, it's, I don't know,
get the
from the north of England. I know.
You're gonna get the chopper. Yeah, they will. Yeah. Don't want to join the don't want to join a dwarf one.
It's like I put the video up of the of my unboxing that set you sent, and somebody put in the comments about axe, great axe, and I thought, what the hell is he talking about? And apparently that was the troop type. I have no idea. It's like learning a whole different language.
You'll get there.
Learning a whole language, but I get there, and they've been quite fun, I have to say. Just something different to paint up. I do like the green skin as well. Yeah. Really enjoyed doing that.
I've got a troll you can use, which is I'm well happy I've done that
I'm
tonight.
not having if his armpits aren't done. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
Don't want him.
look at that. It's done now. Oh, look at that. What have you managed to complete tonight, Dom? Because I've managed to complete. I've managed to prime, paint, and base a model. What have you done?
I finished off my 6 Indians based.
Doesn't count toward. Look, he's a large unit, Dom.
I did get out the box Panzer IV kit, and I didn't do anything with it because I thought I really don't want to do that tonight. So, yeah. What are you doing there? Oh, that's your face.
40 of them.
How long does it take?
Painted I've just painted 4. All I've done on them so far is the flesh. That's it. I've only painted the flesh tonight.
Oh my god!
2 hours to do flesh. Bloody hell.
Yeah. So tomorrow it's going to be once the flesh is done, I'm golden for that. It's just going to be beige brown on the boots, muskets, and equipment, and then a few blue trousers, and then a wash.
And then you're done.
And I'm done.
Cool.
For you,
Tell
Steve.
you what, this heat hasn't helped.
Question for you, Steve, from Nick.
I want to get back
because you're the expert on Germans, right? So he's asking, what colour would you highlight a base colour of German grey Vallejo 70.995?
Oh God.
You talking uniform grey or just natural grey? Natural grey, maybe.
I guess. Yeah, I guess that's the uniform
German.
grey. I don't know.
See, I use that, which is just Vallejo German field grey.
Yeah, field grey. Oh yeah.
What do you highlight with it?
Highlight that. I just use sunny skin tone.
Okay.
That's my go-to for any highlight. For highlighting any greens, I always use sunny skin tone.
Yeah.
I'm Iraqi sand myself.
Yeah.
Like Iraqi sand to highlight.
Is he talking about like just a normal grey? Has he used like what number was it?
70.995.
What colour's uniform grey? What is uniform grey?
Don't know. I haven't got my paints in front of me, so I can't tell.
No, his field grey is 830, isn't
field grey is 102.
10, yeah. 99.
Oh yeah, 830. So it's the number's 102 from on my field grey.
Yeah, the grey you're talking about is like it's in the actual grey. It's like proper grey. To highlight that, I'd probably try and find a brighter grey. That's all I can say. If it's a dark grey, find a brighter grey to highlight it.
Yeah, the one. I've got one here. The one. Recommend.
Oh, he's got that German grey 995. I've got it here. It's like it is quite a dark grey. Try 992, which is neutral grey. Or if you want more of a blue grey, you've got the London grey, haven't you? 70992, which is a neutral grey.
You might want to try 905 blue grey pale. That would be good to mix with the original. I imagine that would bring it down, but it wouldn't be really, really stark.
Well, that's the one that he's on about. This one on the right, I don't know if it's clear. So that sort of dark.
Very dark.
Oh, it is very grey. Yeah.
But this is the natural grey I was talking about. Maybe something to brighten it up a little bit. Those two. It's more like a bluey grey. So maybe the London grey, which you get for the trousers that I've done, might be a thing for it. Or a green grey, maybe 886. Nah, it's quite dark again as well, isn't it? Yeah, that's quite a hard one actually. Google's a good friend.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, it depends what strength of wash you've used over. I mean, when I use Agrax on German field grey, it really, really does darken that colour down. Which is why I just go in and use sunny skin tone, but I don't use too much. It's just literally a dab for highlighting German field grey.
Yeah,
he's going to try London grey.
Yeah, London grey. Yeah. It's more of an early war. It's more of an early war sort of blitzkrieg sort of
right
grey, that sort of colour. But yeah, all right. It's 10.
I've never.
Oh, go on. Last one.
Sorry, Ken, go on.
I was going to say it's 10 o'clock, so it's the last bit for us. Do you want to say what you were going to say, mate, and we'll wrap it up?
No, I was going to say I've never painted early war German ever. Blitzkrieg Germans never painted.
Dom looks shocked.
Wow, what the Germans you've done? Jesus.
Even I've got
No,
30,
I am.
I've got 30 of the buggers.
I know. I am very. For me, it's 40, mid 43 onwards. Mainly 44 D-Day onwards. Mine. Early German, never painted them ever.
Oh, I love painting the early Germans. I did enjoy that. I went field grey for the top, and I went London grey underneath, just like Warlord digs. I just like the look of it. Just really enjoyed it, and it looks good. I'm just happy with it.
Would you base your Panzer 1s and 2s?
Definitely.
Go on.
I think that's a perfect point to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Now,
Thanks.
remember out there, be careful because there's nutters basing their tanks, and that's just weird. But make sure if you go on to what's your Facebook page?
Miniature
Ken?
Wargaming Warriors. Miniature Wargaming Warriors.
Go on to Miniature Wargames Warriors and post up your pictures there of as many vehicles with bases as you can possibly do, because he'll love it, and you might convert him for it. It'd be fantastic. But thanks for joining.
Yes, thanks very much for joining us, guys.
Thanks everyone. Cheers.
See you next week.
Hopefully, we'll be back next Monday, same time, same place.
Yeah, same time, same place.
See you later, guys. Bye bye.